So Prachi, let's talk about some development. So when a student or a migrant come to Australia and when they're trying to settle themselves, uh, let's say finding a job, it's the first primary thing everybody try for is first is a study, get settled in the study. You go to university, you enroll yourself, do the orientation and all that. Then the second question comes in the mind is finding a job and finding an accommodation. So what's your experiences doing that, and what's your advice to our viewers in that cohort?
Great question, Krunal. Okay, so I'll start with getting a job here in Australia. So a lot of the times, what happens is that I also get messages on LinkedIn from international students who are keen to study here, and their first question, above all, above anything else, is, and I quite understand where they're coming from, is how's the job market? What
Yeah.
does it look like, and can we get a job there? The answer is not as straightforward as yes or no, because the job market is great. As you know, Kronal, it's doing really well. But the question is, how much are you willing to adapt to the Australian, job market, the Australian culture? How much are you willing to learn in the process of studying here, but also working here, working with people from different parts of the world here? So there's a lot that happens. It's not as simple as graduating, getting a degree, and then getting a job. There's a lot of things, a lot of nuances that you pick up along the way. So for anybody who's really keen to know what's the job market like, will I get a job here in Australia, the short answer is yes, you can, but you need to be able to be someone who's open minded and adaptive in nature to be able to get a job here. So by that, I mean, to put it in this way, when you land in Australia and you started studying here, from day one you can start networking, and from day one you can start building your personal brand online. And when I say that, is like you need to be more wary of your online presence. So and I'm looking at LinkedIn, and I'm talking about LinkedIn at this point. A lot of the students that I've met here don't have a LinkedIn profile, and off the bat, I say that that's the number one thing that you need to be able to showcase your achievements, showcase what you're studying, showcase what your assignments look like, showcase what your interests are. And that's where recruiters live. So LinkedIn is a great platform to kind of start growing your online presence, and making sure that your network, and you keep adding people who you meet along the way, that your network is aware of what you're up to and what your interests are. And it is so important, Kronal, when you come here in Australia, you need to be able to not only study full time, but also be sure to get a volunteer position, or an internship, or a part-time job, or you could do multiple at the same time. It's so important to be able to balance that. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's like local experience matters so much here. Because once you have that, you're not only networking, but you also have talking points with your future recruiters. After graduation, you'll be talking about all of these different positions that you held while you were studying here, whether that's a volunteer position at Red Cross, or it's an internship at Catch. I'm talking about myself. So it's really these points that you can talk to your recruiter. And mind you, they won't necessarily ask you about your experience in your home country or any other country that you have work experience. They will be asking you about the experience that you've had here locally, because they want to learn from that. So that is definitely something that I would push a student to think about if they're thinking about landing a job here in Australia. So that's definitely a big one.